Queen Elizabeth II was Britain's longest reigning monarch, known for her grace and unmatched sense of duty. But behind the royal image was a woman with a surprisingly sharp sense of humor, some very clear opinions, and a few moments that caught everyone completely off guard. These are some of them. The Queen's soft spot for Prince Harry was never more obvious than when she agreed to star in an Invictus Games ad alongside Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. She played her part with complete seriousness, which somehow made the whole thing even funnier.
It was quite close, wasn't it?
Message? Yeah, from Michelle. How very amusing. So we like to watch it together?
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Hey, Prince Harry. Remember when you told us to bring it at the Invictus Games?
Careful what you wish for.
Boom.
Oh, really? Please.
Boom.
When presented with a painting of herself and her father on a horse, the Queen wasted no time pointing out that the man in the portrait looked nothing like him.
And that is supposed to be my father?
Yeah!
No sugarcoating. The Queen was never shy about her age. Every now and then, she would crack a joke about still being alive, delivered with a completely straight face.
Deputy First Minister, Your Majesty.
Oh, good evening.
Hello. Are you well?
Thank you very much. I'm still alive.
Nice to see you again.
Her children were no strangers to her sense of humor, and some might say they inherited it. Here, one of her sons uses a word to describe her that gets a comical reaction from the whole room.
Your Majesty, Mummy.
The Queen once made a surprise appearance on Britain's Got Talent and took the opportunity to take a few well-aimed jabs at Simon Cowell.
That's right, Mr. Cowell. The boss is finally here.
And then she followed it up with an even more hilarious statement that nobody in the room was ready for.
Sovereign to appear on such an insignificant occasion. But as I look down on you all, I am happy to patronize you. Queens have always patronized the arts, and the arts have relied upon the support of queens. And it is with regret, ladies and gentlemen.
By the time she got to the rest of her speech, the hosts and audience were barely keeping it together. During a zoo visit, an elephant reached toward the Queen's arm and then pointed toward its own mouth. She read the situation immediately and pointed directly at Prince Philip, who had a banana hidden on him. Most people would be nervous about keeping the Queen waiting. She, on the other hand, turned it into a joke.
I thought my mind stayed there for ages. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Majesty. How are you?
Well, as you can see, I can't move.
You could never quite predict what the Queen was going to say next. Here she calls out the Prime Minister of Canada for making her feel old.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all here this evening. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister of Canada, for making me feel so old.
The Queen's reaction when she was told she'd be receiving £16 in cash says everything. She was clearly not expecting that.
Royal Box sweepstakes we have now. Many congratulations.
Very kind of us. Thank you very much. What do I get?
Well, you get £16.
£16?
£16.
Winning.
During the 2012 Olympics, the Queen took part in a James Bond-inspired skit that nobody saw coming. Her calm expression and perfect timing made the whole thing unforgettable. When a toddler became overwhelmed during a royal meeting, the Queen did not flinch. She stayed calm and amused, letting the moment play out without making it awkward for anyone. During one appearance, the Queen looked around, noticed everyone was wearing the same shade of blue, and quietly pointed it out. A small observation, but the way she delivered it was very her.
We're all in blue. We're all in blue.
When she spotted a tilted cake and joked she couldn't properly see it, the formality of the moment disappeared almost instantly.
I thought it had to be upside down for the press. As they can see. I don't matter.
That was usually how it went with her. Even stepping off a boat had its complications in her later years. She handled it the way she handled most things, with humor.
First headed the party, waiting to greet Her Majesty. The step was too high for her to manage alone. She asked for a pull-up, an informal touch that brought smiles to the faces.
It was rare to see the Queen visibly moved, but being reunited with her father's crown, which she had only ever worn at her coronation, put her in quite a solemn state.
It's much smaller, isn't it? I mean, it was the same height. You know, it would have been up to about there when my father wore it.
I mean, it was huge then.
Yes, very unwieldy.
The interviewer gently tried to lighten the mood, and eventually it worked. The Queen came back to herself.
Fortunately, my father and I have about the same sort of shaped head. But once you put it on, it stays. I mean, it just remains itself.
You have to keep your head very still.
Yes. And you can't look down to read the speech. You have to take the speech up. Because if you did, your neck would break, or it'd fall off.
Away from cameras and duties, children had a way of bringing out the Queen's most natural reactions. During a visit to Balmoral, a child's comment got genuine laughter out of her. One of those moments where the crown just disappears.
Did you make sure to put it in the question box if we don't know? That's sycamore. That's very good. Yes. You stick all these things in. I'm looking. Is this sure if I look at it? Really? Once you've got to this right. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Okay, I'm comfortable. There you go. But you feel special before, very nice. Yeah. You're doing lots of different things. Sycamore. Hello. So let's get some making. We're making lovely crowds. The girls have made a few here. Oh, yeah.
The Queen sat in on a briefing about hospital procedures for student nurses, and her expression made it very clear she was in completely unfamiliar territory. The room noticed.
Benefits to our students. Sometimes it's all right, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. He gets to spend the day in bed.
The Queen did not only trade jokes with friends. When the deputy commander of the Irish terror group that had tried to blow her up on multiple occasions came to ask after her health, she had something ready for him too.
Deputy First Minister, Your Majesty.
Oh, good evening.
Hello. Are you well?
Thank you very much. I'm still alive.
Nice to see you again.
Even during routine meet and greet sessions with tourists, the Queen found a way to get a laugh in. Here, over a shared love of holidays.
I don't think I mind. It's very much like it's a ride. Yes, I'm going on holidays.
Ronald Reagan was one of the few American presidents the Queen genuinely connected with. Unlike many leaders who tried to be formal around her, Reagan was relaxed and funny, and the two bonded quickly over their shared love of horses. In 1982, the Queen invited Reagan to ride horses around Windsor Castle, a privilege very few ever received. It said a lot about how much she trusted him. Reagan's storytelling had a way of bringing out a side of the Queen the public rarely got to see. After years of stiff and cautious leaders, he was a welcome change. John F. Kennedy's 1961 visit to Buckingham Palace was a more complicated affair. While the Kennedys were admired worldwide, the Queen reportedly felt they were more focused on image than on genuine connection. The Kennedys were young, charismatic, and very comfortable in front of cameras. Almost like celebrities. For a queen who valued tradition and restraint, that energy felt like a different world entirely.
Place for Buckingham Palace to dine with the Queen and Prince Philip.
There was never any hostility between them, but the Kennedys never quite made it into the inner circle either. She respected them, but unlike Reagan or Eisenhower, she rarely spoke about them with real warmth. The Queen occasionally tried new things, and her reactions when she did were usually worth watching.
Do you know that I haven't watched from a pair of binoculars for ages? Look at it, pouring with tears. Oh dear. I always watch on the television. It's the emotion. No, I watch on the television. No, Mummy, if you look into the wind like that.
Her love of the outdoors also provides...
Jimmy Carter's casual, friendly approach was very different from what the Queen was used to. At times, his relaxed style seemed to bump up against royal traditions in ways that were hard to ignore. Carter greeted the Queen with a kiss on the lips. For someone raised around strict royal etiquette, that was a surprise. Carter meant well, but he never quite found the balance between being friendly and respecting the traditions that mattered to the Queen. Unlike Reagan or Ford, things never fully clicked. Barack Obama was perhaps the biggest surprise. Despite coming from completely different generations and backgrounds, he and the Queen developed an easy, natural connection.
It was the way Obama and Michelle towered over the Queen and indeed Prince Philip. He is 6'1", she's 5'4". There's an awful lot of difference in inches there. Yes, it's a very significant gesture. She's not known for this kind of thing. When Paul Keating, the Australian politician, put his hand...
During Obama's first visit, Michelle Obama broke royal protocol by putting her arm around the Queen. What surprised people was that the Queen responded warmly rather than pulling away.
Picture of the Queen with her arm round Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama's hand around the Queen too, but the Queen made the first move. This is the most astounding thing, because the Queen is not known for being touchy-feely. Indeed, her son, Prince Charles, complained on one occasion that he wasn't given enough affection when he was a child.
During a White House speech, George W. Bush accidentally said the Queen had visited America in 1776 instead of 1976. Rather than looking offended, the Queen gave a perfectly timed reaction that got the whole room.
Our nation celebrated its bicentennial in 1976.
Hit you with the bleak. Hit you with the tricks.
The Queen respected that Bush never pretended to be someone he wasn't. He brought his own personality into every meeting and never tried to appear overly sophisticated just because he was around royalty.
And I put George at the end of the table and told Her Majesty I put him there so he wouldn't get into terrible trouble. And Her Majesty was very cute about it, and she looked at him and said, "Well, George, why do they think that you're the black sheep in the family?" And he said, "Well, I don't know, Your Majesty," but he said, "Every family has black sheep. You have them in your family, don't you?" The whole table went to a deep silence. But he is outrageous, and she loved him.
When a child mentioned studying algebra, the Queen's reaction was brief, but said everything.
It's mostly algebra, and it's It's mostly algebra, and it's
Donald Trump's 2018 visit was one of the most talked about of her later years. The Queen remained composed throughout, but those watching closely noted that things felt noticeably different from her meetings with previous presidents. The Queen was never afraid to do things other royals wouldn't. Her Paddington Bear interview is a good example of that.
You would like a marmalade sandwich? I always keep one for emergencies.
So do I. I keep mine in here. For later.
During Trump's visit, he appeared to walk ahead of the Queen, leaving her to adjust her steps. She never publicly said anything about it, but her quiet reaction was noted. The Queen loved cake, but cutting it in her later years became its own challenge. After decades of meeting important people from all over the world, the Queen never needed much to break the ice. One quick remark was usually enough to turn a formal moment into something genuine.
Why not, ma'am? I went to Baghdad.
I knew you did. You're expendable now.
Yes, I'm expendable. Yes, that's
You're
true.
expendable. He couldn't go to Baghdad.
For someone known for her composure, the Queen could be surprisingly expressive at a horse race. Watching one of her horses run brought out an excitement she simply could not keep under wraps.
The dark green jacket up the side of the rails, making significant progress, and then Hector Protector Hailsham with a run, too long on the wide outside of the back, they've got too far to go.
Joe Biden was the last American president to meet the Queen before her death. Their meeting at the G7 summit in 2021 was brief, but the warmth between them was easy to see.
As she sat for the photo call with the world leaders, Elizabeth quipped, "Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying yourselves?" provoking a laughter. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson replied, "Yes, we have been enjoying ourselves in spite of appearances." The event was the monarch's first opportunity to meet Biden as US President.
What stood out about their interaction was how natural it felt. After a lifetime of meeting world leaders, the Queen still responded best to people who could simply be themselves around her. Gerald Ford brought something different to the table. Straightforward, humble, and completely at ease with himself. Qualities the Queen seemed to genuinely appreciate.
It was also during a very tense time for both the U.S. and meant a lot for our country and relations overseas.
So President Ford was dealing with a country that had lost confidence in itself. So what exactly did this victory from the British 200 years before mean? And the British were going through a tough time as well. So when President Ford and Queen Elizabeth come together, they both represent healing the nation, restoring integrity to public office, raising the level of public trust and public service, and being really a boon to their people.
Even Prince Philip wasn't always prepared for the Queen's humor. During one of her speeches, he caught the hidden digs she had slipped in and burst out laughing.
All too often, I fear Prince Philip has had to listen to me speaking. Frequently, we have discussed my intended speech beforehand, and as you will imagine, his views have been expressed in a forthright manner.
Ford treated the Queen like a person rather than just a monarch, and that simplicity seemed to put her at ease in a way that not everyone managed.
Accompanying the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh. Among those to meet Her Majesty and Prince Philip are America's Foreign Secretary Henry Kissinger and Mrs. Kissinger. The royal guests are accorded the highest military courtesy, a 21-gun salute.
Their friendship had a memorable peak at a White House state dinner, when Ford invited the Queen to dance. For a few minutes, the formality disappeared completely.
As a tramp, the Queen was starting to dance. So Betty said, I thought it was a funny coincidence. It really didn't bother me. Maybe it was referring to me, she said, laughing. And some in England didn't like Nelson Rockefeller putting his arm up.
Long before she became Queen, Elizabeth had already made an impression on American leadership. During her 1951 visit to Washington, President Truman was genuinely taken by her, describing her with real admiration.
Miss Elizabeth plays hostess to the Truman family in a full-dress formal reception at the Canadian Embassy in Washington. It's the climax of a hectic 3-day visit to the U.S., in which the royal couple were guests of the president. The princess wears a diamond tiara. She and her husband, Prince Philip, have just made a record 1,600 handshakes, and they just can't wait for dinner.
One of the Queen's funniest moments came simply from telling a story. While recounting an encounter with a gorilla, she delivered every detail with such calm seriousness that the audience had no choice but to laugh.
To me, there's a gorilla coming in. So I said, what an extraordinary remark to make, very unkind about anybody. And so, I stood in the middle of the room and pressed the bell and the doors opened. And there was a gorilla. And I had the most terrible trouble in keeping, he had short body, long arms.
Her relationship with Dwight Eisenhower went back to the Second World War. She admired his calm personality and sense of duty long before he became president. As a much younger woman, the Queen's opening lines were enough to get a laugh. Age only sharpened it.
I do hope you can see me today from where you are.
Richard Nixon was someone the Queen respected but never fully warmed to. Having met him both as vice president and later as president, she recognized his intelligence, but their relationship stayed firmly professional. Nixon's intensity made it hard for the kind of relaxed connection the Queen enjoyed with others. She valued people who could laugh and loosen up. That was never really Nixon's style.
And no two nations in the world more commonly and more closely share the means of communication than do the United States.
Their relationship never moved beyond formal and carefully measured. She admired his abilities, but that was about as far as it went.
He was not referring to legal obligations, but to human intangibles. He was referring to the means of communication, to which Woodrow Wilson had referred to 50 years ago.
Nelson Mandela is one of the very few people who ever made Queen Elizabeth blush.
Well, Your Majesty.
Well, nice to see you.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Why do you look younger every time I see you? Well, how are you?
Didn't change either.
Very nice to see you.
It came as a surprise to many when Snoop Dogg revealed that the Queen had been a genuine admirer of his work while she was alive.
Man, sorry about that. I'll go by the palace, see if they let me in.
Well, I've heard the future king, Williams, is a huge Snoop fan.
Hopefully I can get in. Well, the Queen was a fan too. Rest in peace to the Queen. That was my girl, you know what I'm saying? So, just may want to go up in there, you know, see what it do. They don't let me in or not.
I'm pretty sure you could go to the palace. You're Snoop Dogg, you can do anything you want.
They gonna let me in?
Yeah, they'll be fine. I can sort that out.
Thank you.
Despite serving nearly 6 years as president, Lyndon B. Johnson is the only American president during Elizabeth's reign who never actually met her. Their paths simply never crossed.
He has to step into office upon the assassination of probably the most popular president since Franklin Roosevelt. Lyndon Johnson is really one of those larger-than-life.
Bill Clinton was intelligent, charming, and naturally charismatic. But that alone was not quite enough to win the Queen's trust.
Clinton told us that during their very first meetings at a 1994 British state dinner and a ceremony marking the 50th anniversary of D-Day, he was impressed by the Queen's curiosity. What did she want to know about, like policy questions?
She wanted to know about what was going on in America, how we were dealing with the economic travail.
During Clinton's stay at Buckingham Palace in 1995, the Queen remained polite but guarded. She reportedly felt he was almost too polished and eager to please. George H.W. Bush was much more her speed. His traditional approach and genuine understanding of diplomacy reminded her of the generation she had grown up around. Even after decades of marriage, the Queen still enjoyed getting a rise out of Philip. During one speech, she slipped in a remark about him already knowing her words beforehand, turning a formal occasion into a quiet family joke.
All too often, I fear Prince Philip has had to listen to me speaking. Frequently, we have discussed my intended speech beforehand, and as you will imagine, his views have been expressed in a forthright manner.
The Queen's meetings with George and Barbara Bush had an ease to them that not every presidential visit managed. She seemed comfortable around them, and it showed. Everyone knew the Queen loved horses. When one of hers won, she could not hide her excitement and did not try to.
Esteban has a neck in hand of 7-on, a royal win in the Gold Cup. Esteban has done it. Esteban and Ryan Moore has won for Her Majesty the Queen.
Shortly after the Harry and Meghan interview rocked the royal family, the Queen sat down for an interview herself and was in surprisingly good spirits when asked about Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space whom the interviewer believed she had met.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Your Majesty. And it's wonderful to be with you celebrating this year's British Science Week. So it was actually my birthday yesterday on the 9th of March. But Yuri Gagarin, the first human to travel out into space, was also born on the 9th of March. And I believe, ma'am, that you met him. Can you tell us about that?
I did indeed, yes. It was very interesting to meet him.
What was he like?
Russian. He didn't speak English.
He didn't speak English?
No, he was fascinating. And I suppose being the first one, it was...
The Queen was supposed to take a formal photograph with distinguished ministers. She cracked a joke first, and just like that, everyone's serious expression was gone.
Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying it?
Yes, definitely.
The Queen also admired Bush's quiet confidence and his understanding of responsibility. Their relationship was one of the smoother presidential friendships she had. Away from the ceremonies and cameras, the Queen was at her most relaxed around animals. Her love for dogs was no secret, and these quiet garden moments showed a very different side of her.
The other night, what did I do? Oh, Jade.
What, she ate the puppy's dinner?
Yes, she ate the puppy's dinner.
Do that.
And then there was a grinning face all over the hall, you know.
After knighting comedian Norman Wisdom, the Queen burst out laughing when he immediately broke into his famous move. Even a knighthood ceremony was not off limits. Even while carrying out official duties, the Queen could not ignore a dog that wanted attention. She recognized what it was after immediately and responded without missing a beat.
That's the number of best people.
Where did you come? I know what you want.
While looking at a display with a tiny hat on a mannequin, the Queen delivered a quick, "Unlike me," under her breath. Dry, effortless, and very her.
That's very interesting. I shall always remember.
Thank you very much.
When asked if the crown was heavy, the Queen gave a playful response that reminded everyone there was a very human person underneath it.
There are some disadvantages to crowns, but otherwise...
When George W. Bush teased her about her age, the Queen came back with a perfectly timed response. She could take a joke just as well as she could make one.
I wondered whether I should start this toast saying, when I was here, it was 1720s.
Like his brother Harry, Prince Charles also had a habit of calling the Queen Mummy in public. It never failed to get a reaction from both her and the room.
Mummy.
Princess Anne shared a close bond with her mother and would often take it upon herself to coach the Queen on how to use modern gadgets.
Good morning. I'm very glad to have been able to join you.
Can you see everybody? You should have 6 people on your screen.
Yes, well, I can see 4 anyway.
King Charles shared quite a lot with his mother. While she was still alive, he made light-hearted jokes about her age and the way it sometimes kept her from attending events.
Once you get to 95, it's not quite as easy as it used to be. It's bad enough at 73.
I suppose if you get into that job.
Even in her final years, the Queen's warmth never faded. During a virtual call with Jamaican bobsledders, a small laugh showed she was still very much herself.
So I'm the pilot for the Jamaican bobsleigh team.
Gosh, sounds a very dangerous job.
That ability to connect with people was also why she felt genuinely bad on the occasions she could not place a familiar face.
Again?
It's had the pleasure of meeting you in 2010.
Really?
Yeah, you will be. In 2010.
Really?
2010.
A former royal protection officer who worked with Prince Edward and the Queen spoke about what it was like to be around her. Working with her was clearly one of the highlights of his career.
Duke of Edinburgh. And then I was lucky enough to spend the last 14 years of my career as the Queen's personal protection officer, a position called the Queen's police officer, until I retired in...
Her wit and charm, how did you find her?
Oh, I would give you 101 examples of her wit and her charm. And would you like some?
Yes, please. Oh, yes, please.
When asked if she wrote with her own hand, the Queen's response was simple. She couldn't write any other way. Dry, deadpan, and perfectly delivered.
But you write it in your own hand.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think that's terribly important.
Well, I can't write any other.
During a speech, the Queen went completely silent and then responded with a private joke that caught everyone off guard.
You helped our nation celebrate its bicentennial in 1976. She gave me a look that only a mother could give a child.
When Prince Harry made a joke about sharing a tent, the Queen's reaction said everything. Behind the formal image was someone who very much enjoyed a good laugh with her grandchildren.
Took myself and Prince Harry to the North Pole.
Oh, did you? Oh, did you? That was brave.
Shared a tent with him, brave. That's incredibly brave. On my part. I survived.
Even after wearing the crown for decades, the Queen could still make a joke about how heavy it actually was, and somehow make one of the world's most powerful symbols feel surprisingly relatable.
But is it still as heavy? Yes, it is. Yes, it weighs a ton. It's very solid, isn't it?
During a visit, the Queen spotted a cow and immediately pointed it out with genuine excitement. A small, unscripted moment. But those were often the most memorable ones with her.
But she was also fond of cows, as seen in this delightful clip from Her Majesty's 90th birthday.
The Queen had spent enough time around horses to know they could not be trusted around flowers. When one tried to steal hers, she moved them away with calm amusement, barely fazed. The Queen's disciplinarian side came out during a public outing with Prince William. A brief moment, but unmistakably firm.
Not sure which reaction is better, Prince William or Prince George. Let's take a look again. Gotta love grandmas.
Photos later emerged of Prince William visibly emotional during Helen Mirren's tribute to the Queen at the BAFTAs.
BAFTA's relationship with Her Majesty was long-standing, and BAFTA would not be what it is today without her loyal support. In 1953, her coronation broadcast had the world watching. From that time, she was unquestionably the nation's leading lady, but as mysterious as a silent film star.
The Queen's relationship with cake was complicated, but never more so than the time she tried to cut an enormous one with a ceremonial sword. Away from the formality of public duties, the Queen loved nothing more than pulling a family member or minister aside and sharing her thoughts. on presidents, on life, on whatever was on her mind.
There will be all kinds of different trees growing here in another 50 years, maybe.
Might easily be, yes. It won't be here, though.
I was going to say, a sundial neatly planted in the shade.
Isn't it good? Yes. Had we thought of that?
The Queen had a natural way with people that showed up everywhere, including this interaction with a group of Canadian soldiers that became one of her more talked about moments.
Where are you from? I'm from Winnipeg. But it's quite a long way from anywhere. Winnipeg breakfast on the lake. Yes, ma'am. I really enjoyed it. Did your first time too? Yes. It's quite a lot to see.
President Obama later shared that his fondness for the Queen went well beyond that ad. He spoke about her with genuine warmth.
The first time that I met the Queen was visiting London. She reminded me very much of my grandmother, which surprised me, not just in appearance, but also in manner. Very gracious, but also no nonsense, wry sense of humor. She could not have been more kind or thoughtful to me and Michelle.
Even Daniel Craig had a hard time keeping a straight face around the Queen.
Mr. Bond, Your Majesty.
Good evening, Mr. Bond.
Good evening, Your Majesty.
Craig later revealed that she cracked some very good jokes at his expense. He did not seem to mind.
But it's the same honor that
yes, that's
James
right.
Bond had.
In the stories, yeah, he gets a CMG and then is awarded, or they offer him KCMG, which is a knighthood after that, but
Yes.
he rejects it.
He rejects the knighthood.
Yep, he rejects
All right.
it, yeah.
Are you offered the knighthood?
Well, obviously not now. Who knows? God, I mean, what's so amazing about it? I mean, it's incredible, but I kind of feel that there's a sort of sense of humor about giving it to me.
Because it's normally given out to, like, diplomats and spies.
Well.
Is there something you'd like to tell us? Tell us that this whole time James Bond was just a cover for your real job?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic to find out at the end of your life.
That's a 15-year.
Although the Queen lived a long, full life, her warmth and good nature made her loss hard for everyone, including her grandchildren, who were clearly not ready to say goodbye. David Beckham spoke openly about how much her death affected him and shared that he had stood in the public queue to pay his respects, something he had done for her before, years earlier.
And every time that we stood there and we wore those three-line shirts and I had my armband and we sang, you know, God Save Our Queen, that was something that meant so much to us. And every time that we did it, it was something special. This day was always going to be difficult, and it's difficult for the nation, it's difficult for everyone around the world, because I think everyone is feeling it.
Many who knew her held on to fond memories of the pranks she used to play on her staff and grandchildren at the Sandringham estate.
She put some chocolates on the grand piano, then she'd go upstairs to the sort of a little sort of balcony, and she could be hidden up there and then look down to see who nicked her chocolates. You know, they'd look around and then they'd look and grab one out of the box. Yes, she loved doing little pranks like that, and she loved telling stories about, you know, like when she could, when her car broke down on the Sandringham estate, which it seemed to do quite frequently. And she went into one of the estate cottages. Of course, they knew who she was, but she couldn't remember the number of Sandringham House because she never had to use it. So she rang, or got them to ring, she rang directories of inquiries and asked for it, and they wouldn't give it to her.
Classified information.
So the Queen just dined out on all these little stories.
The Queen gave many interviews throughout her life, but her coronavirus address, emotional, uplifting, and deeply personal, felt different. Looking back, it had the quality of a final message to the people she loved.
We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again. But for now, I send my thanks and warmest good wishes to you all.
Away from the crowns and ceremonies, nothing lit the Queen up quite like her corgis. Watch her for more than a few seconds around them and the monarch disappears. What's left is just someone completely delighted by her dogs. Walking the Buckingham Palace gardens with Sir David Attenborough, a helicopter kept drowning out their conversation. "Why do they always go round and round when you want to talk?" she asked, before adding, it reminded her of a certain American president.
Sounds like President Trump, President Obama.
At a 1983 state dinner in San Francisco, the Queen deadpanned a line about California's famously bad weather during her trip. Reagan, sitting right beside her, completely broke character, trying not to laugh.
Mr. President, thank you for the very kind things you have said tonight. It is only 9 months since we had the great pleasure of having you and Mrs. Reagan to stay with us at Windsor. Now we have had the memorable experience of visiting you in your home state of California and of seeing your ranch at Santa Barbara. I knew before we came that we had exported many of our traditions to the United States, but I had not realized before that weather was one of them.
Talking with Attenborough about how her trees would look in 50 years' time, the Queen didn't miss a beat before delivering the line that would resurface online years later. "I won't be here, though." Attenborough could only laugh.
There will be all kinds of different trees going here in another 50 years, maybe.
Might easily be, yes. I won't be here, though.
There will be all kinds of different trees going here in another 50 years, maybe.
Might easily be, yes. I won't be here, though.
For every carefully composed public appearance, there was a candid one waiting to happen. This compilation catches several of the Queen's more unguarded moments, the kind that never quite made the official highlight reel.
How's that?
Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying it? Now, don't look too miserable, I know.
In this charming footage from 1985, Her Majesty jokes around with 6 former Prime Ministers as they all try to fit in one photo during a visit to Margaret Thatcher's Downing Street.
Spotting a sundial standing in full shade, the Queen turned to Attenborough with total deadpan. Had we thought of that? It wasn't in the shade originally, I'm sure. A tiny, perfectly dry observation. Very her.
I was going to say, a sundial neatly planted in the shade.
Isn't it good? Yes.
Yeah.
Had we thought of that? That it was planted in the shade? It wasn't in the shade originally, I'm sure. But maybe we could move it.
Trooping the color was always more than pageantry for the Queen. It was one of the few public events where the family's real personalities slipped through the formality. Hers included.
God, royal salute! Present! Ah!
From a corgi named Susan gifted to her on her 18th birthday to decades of dogs afterward, the Queen's bond with her corgis was one of the most consistent relationships of her entire life.
Lynette? No, that's Emma. That's Mother.
Even decades into her reign, the Queen still found new ways to catch a room off guard. This is one of the moments from later in her life where her timing was somehow even sharper.
I thought it had to be upside down for the press. As they can see. I don't matter.
The camera catches a tiny moment as she jokes about not being able to read the cake because it was tilted. She goes on to acclaim that she doesn't matter, that's why it was tilted. She turns a simple quirk into a laughable moment and makes the whole scene feel less formal and more human.
From mocking a certain American president to jumping out of a helicopter for the Olympics, this compilation has more of the Queen's sharper moments than most people ever got to see in one place.
Sounds like President Trump, President Obama.
Even off the record, the Queen's humor rarely stayed hidden for long. This compilation catches a few more moments where her guard slipped just briefly in front of the cameras.
I keep a diary, but it's not really a diary like Queen Victoria's, you know, or as detailed as that. It's quite small.
But you write it in your own hand.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think that's terribly important.
Well, I can't write any other way. Does it look all right with the background?
Yes, it does.
I mean, Johnny like it'd be awful if you said no, because I don't know something else.
It's my hat,
Royal win in the Gold Cup! Estimate has done it!
And the Queen is watching her filly Estimate win the race for which she is meant to present the trophy. Her Majesty the Queen only presents 2 trophies during Royal Ascot, and look at the delight there, the sheer joy. Magnificent scenes, the crowd seeing that as well on the big...
The Queen's speeches were rarely just speeches. She had a habit of slipping in a line meant for exactly one person in the room, usually Philip, while keeping her expression completely composed for everyone else.
All too often, I fear Prince Philip has had to listen to me speaking. Frequently, we have discussed my intended speech beforehand, and as you will imagine, his views have been expressed in a forthright manner.
Whether it was a comment under her breath or a perfectly timed pause, the Queen's dry humor tended to show up exactly when nobody was expecting it, including here.
That's very interesting. I shall always remember.
Thank you very much.
To show up exactly when nobody was expecting it, Long after her coronation, the Queen still greeted a new litter of puppies with the same unguarded excitement she had as a young princess. Some things never changed. It wasn't just her own corgis. Any dog that wandered into view during an official visit had a way of completely stealing her attention, protocol or not. Public duties rarely left much room for spontaneity, but the Queen kept finding small windows for it anyway. A raised eyebrow, a quiet aside, a joke only half the room caught. 7 decades on the throne meant 7 decades of practice reading a room. It wasn't just her own corgis. Any dog that wandered into view during an official visit had a way of completely stealing her attention, protocol or not. Public duties rarely left much room for spontaneity, but the Queen kept finding small windows for it anyway. A raised eyebrow, a quiet aside, a joke only half the room caught.
Do you have any decapulated comments?
It's just coming through. John says he'll bring it through himself.
Thank you.
What?
It's coming.
Oh, well.
I mean, as you know, we try our best.
You're looking well, taking into account your tight schedule. I'm very.
Tomorrow I'm going to see 16 people. I may not look so good tomorrow. Somebody asked me, had I been to Africa before? Which was nice of them to ask, but I did say that I had been everywhere in the Commonwealth.
7 decades on the throne meant 7 decades of practice reading a room and knowing exactly when a straight face would land better than a smile.
Did you write it in your own hand?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think that's terribly important.
Well, I can't write any other way.
For more than 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II proved that being a monarch did not mean losing your sense of humor. Whether she was trading jokes with presidents, making children laugh, or quietly stealing a moment with a perfectly timed one-liner, there was always someone wonderfully human behind the crown. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.
We will meet again. But for now, I send my thanks and warmest good wishes to you all.